There is a sutra which comes from Hatha Yoga. It says, Chale vate chale chitta nishchale nishchalam bhavet. That means, as long as breath moves, mind fluctuates. As long as breath moves, mind fluctuates. So think of this as the rhythm of prana, and think of this as the rhythm of mind. Whatever the kind of rhythm you are having with your breath, similarly mind reacts or acts. So if your inhalation is bigger and exhalation is smaller, inhalation is bigger and exhalation is smaller, what's going to happen? The same is happening in the mind. The same happens in the mind. When we talk about rhythm of the mind means what? If I ask you to define it in your own specific way, so anytime this idea strikes to you, rhythm of the mind, and I ask you to define it, how are you going to say it? Rhythm of the mind means what to you? Or it's nonsense as a term? Okay, so just say it. Rhythm of the mind means what? Ability to discern. Your ability to discern means, think of your body has the ability to pick up nutrients but release the waste. Yes, to be cohesive. Yes. So your body has a natural intelligence in which it picks up the nutrients and it releases the metabolic waste. Similarly, we have a lot of stuff in the mind. So ability to discern means you're going to keep what is needed and then the rest is going to go out. But here comes the question, and the question is it an active process or a passive process? Ability to discern, is it an active process or a passive process? How many of you think that the ability of discernment is an active process? How many of you think it's a passive process? How many of you still think that we really don't know what we are discussing here? Okay, so ability to discern is a passive process actually. That means if you try and discern, anytime you do it actively, that means what? You're trying to discern the things on behalf of your limbic system. Anytime you try and discern something, anytime you try and understand something, that means it all happens under your previous experiences. Your previous experiences are not sufficient enough for you to discern things in your life. Like in the moment when you are choosing that particular thing, what gives you that position, that state of mind? Is it active or passive? For sure, when you went on choosing, there were few options. But in that mode, what was the state of your mind? Impartial observation. And impartial observation is a passive state of mind. It's not an active state. Yes. So what is yoga? Is this. And how to attain it? By bringing the rhythm to the breath. Because the rhythm of the breath is the rhythm of mind. Because the way it's moving here, similar stuff is happening here. So here comes the time that after inhalation, exhalation, there is a pause. Same thing happens here. One thought and then there is a pause. So here it's breathlessness and here it's thoughtlessness. But if I ask last thing and then I'll leave you in peace, how many breaths in 1 minute for you to attain this state of mind? So how many breaths do you think is sufficient enough for you to attain this state of mind where you have gained the ability to discern? So how many breaths you have in 1 minute during those moments? How many breaths you are having right now? Medical norms of breathing says 12 to 16 breaths per minute. If it is happening in you right now, that means you are healthy according to the medical norms. But the ability to discern is not possible with this number. If you think that you're going to discern having these number of breath in 1 minute, it's not possible. It's too many breath actually. It's too many breath, and too many breath leads to many thoughts. So one idea, how many breath you think you're supposed to have for that state of mind? I would say yogic health or yogic norms. You must have 6 to 8 breath. But this 6 to 8 breath per minute gives you the superficial solutions of life. I'm talking about the ability to discern what is life and what is the purpose of life. These are like this number of breath for you to stay healthy and function well in your mundane life. Yes, superficial life. It seems like here I'm struggling in my superficial life. Here I struggle. So if I reduce it to this number, it seems like I have the solution, at least to live well. But what is life? I still don't know. I need to reduce it further.
Would that include retention also, like holding your breath?
Yes, so I'm coming to that point slowly. So it seems like the ability to discern, that happens with 2 to 3 breath per minute. Now again the same question, is it an active process or a passive process? Because if you force yourself to breathe in this fashion, is it really possible? I think that was your question, like you tried and what happened? There was a strong urge for you to breathe in. And because of that I said it's not an active process. I cannot force myself from here to here. If this is my breathing habit and I force myself here, no, it's not going to happen. So it's not an active process, it's a passive process.
So it slowly
It changes and then it becomes your habit. Yes, go ahead.
This is sort of symptom of another main process.
So right now, like we all are awake, we are not meditating right now. So we must have this number of breath. But is this the case? In most of the time I would say no. And what's affecting our breathing pattern right now? How many of you are doing the justice to your lumbar spine right now? Yes, lower back, lumbar spine. It's supposed to be slight curve inside. That's the lordosis, a slight curve inside. So anytime I sit like this, it pops backward. Anytime it pops backward, what happens? Number of breath goes higher. So I lose my ability to discern. So I must have this much, and for that I must acquire a proper postural alignment. And then once it's there, and I can hold it for a little longer, it reduces itself further. But just an idea, that 2 to 3 breath in a minute means what to you? If this is 1 minute duration, what do you think? 2 to 3 breath in this. How big your inhalation is. So it looks like if there are 2 breaths in a minute, 15 seconds of inhalation, 15 seconds of exhalation, 15 seconds of inhalation, 15 seconds of exhalation, and this makes it 2 breath. But is this the case? So what's the case then? You can think of, is there a possibility for you to think of inhaling for 15 seconds? And if you are inhaling for 15 seconds, are you relaxed in that moment? No, you're not. So it doesn't happen this way. It happens, if this is 1 minute, so a small breath here and a small breath here. So this breath takes 2 to 3 seconds. This breath also takes 2 to 3 seconds. Inhalation and exhalation both. And then the rest is what?
External retention.
External retention. This is called in yoga Keval Kumbhak. Kumbhak you know as retention. Keval means spontaneous retention of breath. So it's happening to you. It's not that you are practicing it. It happens to you. So if it is 3 seconds, 3 seconds, how many seconds are still left in 1 minute? 54. 27 seconds of pause here and then 27 seconds of pause here. And this is the moment of time that you have acquired what? Impartial observation, because a slight fluctuation of the breath takes away your impartiality. Because what is impartiality? I would say vibration less state of mind.
So impartial observation means no breathing.
Breathlessness, actually. Now think about it, is it really possible for me to be breathless and alive at the same time?